I gotta say, the Premier League is such a fun league to cover. There is so much to talk about after this weekend. Arsenal and Liverpool play out an exciting 2-2 draw. Of course, not without its controversies and without its drama. Erik ten Hag has finally, the hammer has dropped. The hammer, get what I'm saying? Hammer has dropped on Erik ten Hag, but Man United have gotten away with a draw in that game? So much to keep going on. Cole Palmer keeps firing. We have so much to cover right here on the Premier League show. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Premier League show. Welcome to Hot Sport. We are live, baby. Make sure you are hitting the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. We were on live last night to preview the NBA. Felt like I was falling asleep on you guys. I would crazy. Just working around the clock for you. Note to self, do not be doing late night streams. They are not easy. But today we are doing our weekly Premier League show. As well as I said, make sure you are hitting the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. There's so much to cover. I didn't even mention in my intro, by the way, the Ballon d'Or that happened yesterday. So there's so much news, so much stuff to cover. But let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. All right. Well, the pain for my club at the moment continues as I feel like our title is slipping away from us. And I would say not by our own doing. We've had this conversation last week about if I was worried about Arsenal. And one thing I need to clarify is I'm worried about the situation and not worried about the team in general. As I said in my reel, I think that I came out of this game convinced that Arsenal is the best team in the country. Now, does that mean that they will win the league? At the moment, there's a big uphill climb that needs to take place now, and I said that if we did not beat Liverpool, and we didn't beat Liverpool, but the overarching play must be discussed here. It must be discussed here. Look, I gotta say, I wasn't very convinced by Liverpool. I wasn't convinced by them last week when they beat Chelsea, and I wasn't convinced by them this week when they got the points. I thought they were very opportunistic with the situation given to them. Arsenal got Bukayo Saka back, Jurrien Timber back into the lineup. Obviously, Saliba serving suspension, so Ben White stepped into the center back position, and Arsenal came out of the gates flying. Beautiful ball from Ben White over the top. Bukayo Saka, as I said, if you've seen my reel, sends Andy Robertson absolutely that beautiful, just slight touch to his left to send Andy Robertson out of the way. He smashes it past Kelleher. And Arsenal, having taken the punches all week, everybody counting us out in this game, came out, punched Liverpool in the face early. Also then give away a corner. Trent Alexander-Arnold puts a beautiful corner cross in which Van Dijk heads. Look, you can't say anything about that. Just a beautiful set piece play. You can argue about maybe the marking on Van Dijk and who was put on Van Dijk at the assignment to put I think it was Partey on Van Dijk, and Van Dijk gets that in. But Arsenal, again, look, there are a few controversies. I'm not going to sit here this week and I'm not going to blame the referee this week. I know there are a lot of people who are doing it, but I'm kind of sick and tired of doing it. And I kind of just want to talk about, for me, the circumstances of this game had nothing to do with it. I think the circumstances of this game had to do with Arsenal's increasing injury problems and in the places where we didn't expect it to the most. Look, the Odegaard thing, I think we've coped with it over the last month or two now since his injury. And I don't think that was at all the problem. Arsenal's ability to create chances or finish, I don't believe was Arsenal's bugaboo or their Achilles heel in this one. But for me, and that defense, look, we already had Saliba coming out, and the minute you saw Gabriel leave, Arsenal were 2-1 up. I thought Arsenal were comfy. A lot of times, a lot of these games that they've dropped points in. Look, by the way, this time 11-11, so can't say anything about that. But there's always some sort of controversy. It's like our path to try to be league champions is just made harder and harder and harder. And then when Gabriel comes off, you're like, Gabriel and Saliba, and off Kivior comes on, and even then, by the way, not to mention the goal. I didn't mention the goal, by the way. Great cross by Rice. Great header, bullet header by Mikel Moreno, who scores his first Arsenal goal. And yeah, as I said, Arsenal were comfortable. 2-1 up. Then Gabriel goes off. But even then, I thought Arsenal was able to hold the line. The key thing here was that Jurrien Timber, coming back from injury, was assigned to Mohamed Salah. He had Mohamed Salah in his pocket. Mohamed Salah did not have an impact on this game until you saw the moment that Jurrien Timber sat himself down on the ground and asked to be subbed, and Miles Lewis-Skelly came in. And then the beast was unleashed, and Arsenal were hit on the break, trying to get to a third. Darwin breaks the lines, crosses it in for Salah, and Salah is just clinical. And I feel like this goal does not happen with Jurrien Timber on the pitch. It just does not happen with Jurrien Timber, and especially with Gabriel on the pitch. And I just felt like it's just always something. The injuries pile up, the refereeing decisions pile up, and it's just Arsenal, as I mentioned in my reel. I don't need to go into it too much if you've watched the reel. But I just feel like in the Man City game, before the Trossard sending off, Arsenal were the better team. I didn't feel threatened by City in that game until you had to sit back and defend for 45 minutes. And even then, I thought we were going to do it. And this one, I just felt like Liverpool didn't really offer me nothing. They didn't offer me anything, nothing threatening. I was not worried. All right, they scored from a corner, and then they needed our defense. Like, not even just that, not even Saliba, not even Gabriel out, right, and Timber out eventually. Didn't have Ricardo Calafiori. Our back four was Ben White, Kivior, Thomas Partey at right back, and Miles Lewis-Skelly. And it's just unlucky, and you just don't know when are these players going to be back, when are we going to be healthy. It's just going to be a constant thing. Can we just look? It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Injuries are part of the game. You have to take account for it in the season. And don't tell me about these defensive injuries, and you can blame Mikel Arteta for this, because he stocked up in the defense, absolutely, for sure. And yeah, look, it is what it is, but I don't think Liverpool deserved 2 goals out of this game. I don't think they deserve the share of the points. Only people who say that are Liverpool fans or media members on the commentary teams who are just saying it just to be for the league, for the advertisement of the league. They say that, I'm still doing the yawning, but yeah, they still say the darndest thing. But yeah, Arsenal, we fall now. What? We were 3 points behind City last week, 5 points behind City now, and still 4 behind Liverpool. Look, it's the Liverpool part of it. You have to kind of look at it like this. The thing is that the Liverpool part of it is interesting. The City part of it, I see it as 2 points that are outside of Arsenal's control, that City need to drop. A loss, preferably, because City's goal difference right now is better than Arsenal's. But season goes on, takes 1, 2, few games where Arsenal are firing. to fix that up. So as long as the Arsenal beat City at the Etihad, which now will be a must later on in the year, it's 2. The Liverpool one is tricky because this was our home game. And so I don't know if you can say the same thing about, oh, we're going to go to Anfield and pick up 3 points. That is a tough ask. Arsenal have not done that for many, many years. Maybe get a draw again at Anfield. Then we have a draw each way. Oh, God. But, yeah, it's going to be tough. But the thing is, Liverpool are more likely than City to have drop points as the season progresses. So still a long way to go, but Arsenal need to get our players back, and we need to start picking up a run of results. Now, unfortunately for us, our next 2 are against the teams about to bring up on the thing, which is Newcastle away and then Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And Arsenal are going to have to win both those games, in my opinion. They cannot afford to keep dropping back behind. Those are 2 games away from home. We got to see who's healthy. We'll get for sure Saliba back. Who is going to be? Is Gabriel going to be available to play? Who's going to play? Is it going to, is Timber going to be available to play? We don't know the extent of his injury. I'm just going to check because there were some updates. News. Just want to set before I move on to my next thing. Bang up. My dog, sorry for that. So it does say Gabriel Magalhaes. Gabriel went down. The Brazilian was spotted with a large rice pack, posting his Instagram, whatever. Okay. Possible return date unknown. Well, Arteta said we still are assessing him. It doesn't look that bad. He was much better the next day. Too soon to tell when he'll be out. So look, you could have him. Saka is already back. Urian Timber says Urian was fine. He was too tired to continue the game. Not an injury. Okay, so yeah, that's a bit costly though, but you never know. You have to take advantage. You have to take advantage of some of these things. Ricardo Calafiori, he said he'll be gone for a few years, few weeks. Possible return November, December, and Odegaard could be back for the Chelsea game. Tomiyasu, the injury is unknown. We don't know how long he'll be out for. It doesn't look like hopefully a long period, but we have to see when he comes back. Kieran doesn't matter. So looks like Timber will be available. So I'm just trying to think what Arsenal could do. Let's say Gabriel's not back. Let's put Gabriel out. So he's most likely going to go with probably White and Saliba at center back, or I don't see him starting Kivior. White and Saliba, Timber, and Partey. But let's see what Zinchenko, which hasn't been mentioned here. When is Zinchenko meant to be returning? No discussion on Alexander Zinchenko. He could be an interesting ask to play against Liverpool. I mean, not against Newcastle. I imagine, though, that by the time we play Chelsea, Gabriel will be fit. But anyway, we move on, and we will talk now about this game. And Cole Palmer keeps on firing. His form is maintained. And yes, this is the next two opponents for Arsenal. Again, Chelsea are impressing me. I keep hating in my picks. I think I picked this one to be a. Did I pick it to be a? Let me look at my Anton's picks. 1 second. I picked this as a draw, so not far off. At one point in the second half, it was a draw. But look, Cole Palmer, that opener was his assist. Just a beautiful ball. Just one of the best long balls you're going to see all season. Picks out Neto, who plays it across to Jackson. Easy finish for Nicholas Jackson there. But Chelsea went up, but Newcastle Newcastle got themselves back into the game. Alexander Isak equalized. And then Cole Palmer with a beautiful finish that came off the post. His great form continues, and Chelsea beat Newcastle 2-1. They're legit, and they're looking strong to be top 4 right now. I think that's kind of where they are. I think they are progressing. I gotta say it. And you know what? It's just sometimes these matchups that they show that they come up. That's what comes down to picks. It's not necessarily how I feel about one team or the other. I just thought that Newcastle would be worth their soil away from home. Probably needing to come back and give in a good performance, even though they lost last week to Brighton. They did, for the most part. But I thought Chelsea were clinical when they had to be. And yeah, Chelsea roll on. That's another win. It's actually their first win. I think they've drawn their last 3 games prior to this. So now they have gotten the 3 points. One second. I'm just going to plug in my light went out. Interesting. The life of being a YouTuber. I'm still getting used to this. I'm just a one-man crew here. Yeah. And yes, so here we go. All right, well, for more cheery news here. Hey, Crystal Palace. Round of applause. Match week 9, and they finally got their first win of the season, and it couldn't have picked a better opponent, the Tottenham Hotspur. Interesting enough, it was Eddie Nketiah who was dropped before this game. Mateta got his place back, and it was Mateta who scored. And Palace were really created great opportunities. They could have another one. A goal disallowed by Eze for offside. And poor performance from Spurs away from home, as they generally do away from home. And Crystal Palace, they finally did it. I said it would be a draw. Again, what else I was in Anton's picks? Villa, Bournemouth, wrong. City, okay, got wrong, right, wrong. Got 2 out of 4, 2 out of 6. It's hard sometimes. Some of these weeks are tricky. Not to make excuses for myself. But yeah, Tottenham and Crystal Palace draw 1-1. Let's keep it rolling along. This happened on the Saturday. Aston Villa against Bournemouth. Ross Barkley. This thing didn't really kick off. By the way, Villa had a goal disallowed, and I'm not going to let this off because similar instance happened to Arsenal twice last year, where the ball went out of bounds and the goals ended up counting. This time, maybe they've just fixed it. Maybe it's just gotten better. But the ball was deemed to come out of bounds from Ollie Watkins. It was a John McGinn goal that no longer stood, and then it kicked off later on, 70th minute, 73 minutes or so. And it was Ross Barkley who bundled home the Villa lead for Villa. Villa thought they had it, but at the end of the day, it was Evan Nielsen from Tavernier's assist. Evan Nielsen has been on fire recently. And they got that equalizer late on. As you can see, the image of the celebration where Evan Nielsen, he tied the shoelaces of Taverniers, thanking him for the assist. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into now. We're going to try to get this thing over with by half an hour show. How shall we? So let's go on. Here's the issue, as I said, with the Arsenal result. Manchester City keep rolling on. And this one was actually a struggle. They got their goal early through Erling Haaland, but I got to give it to my former goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale. He had a great game. He did. Man City had like 22 shots on goal. For the game to finish 1-0. Unfortunately for Southampton, they do not have the firepower. Really. And yeah, City go top of the league, and now they're 1 point clear of Liverpool to top of the Premier League now after Liverpool dropped points to Arsenal. 5 points clear of us. Again, long way to go in the Premier League, but Arsenal need to go. They need to start going on a winning run. And I do have them projected to have a big winning run towards the middle of the season. So we're going to have to see how that goes. This is, look, as much as I'm panicking right now, this is far from over. If Arsenal can get fit, if they can get on a roll, Arsenal are a beast. Arsenal are a beast. And it's just been unlucky. If they could just, stay disciplined, and keep being healthy, maybe we can get on a roll. Liverpool looking good under Slot, but I'm just not convinced fully. I'm just something. At the moment, City are sitting here top of the league again. Are they going to win our 5 straight title? We do not know. Of course, the charges stuff is going to come up soon. We're going to have to see how that goes. And that might put a twist in the tail. But yeah, look, through almost reached the quarter point of the season, which we'll be at basically at halftime of our next game. So it will be the quarter point of the season. And that's when the league start. We're going to start looking at league tables week on week now after next week, because I have the old adage that the Premier League table does not really count until after 10 games. So next week will be after 10 games, and we will take a look at everything then and kind of see how we're positioned. I'd be interested to see, maybe on next week's show, to take a look at how the league stacks up versus what I predicted versus how's it's going. But more Manchester City news, by the way. This win was a record-breaking 35 games unbeaten for Man City. So this is the most unbeaten home games of any team in the Premier League. 35 in a row. Man City have not lost at the Etihad. And look, as we mentioned, 4 straight titles. And last year, Rodri, obviously out for the season now, was yesterday confirmed as the winner of the Ballon d'Or, as I had predicted on my show a few weeks ago. I'm going to go talk about it. Me and my brother had the chat about this as well. But yeah, look, winning 4 straight Premier League titles, basically the best player on the Spanish team that went on to win the Euros. Tick, tick, tick. Yeah, Rodri's the best player on the planet right now. I know he's a defensive midfielder, and it's not sexy to say, but he is. I mean, of course, you got the more attacking, and for all those people who are talking about Vinicius got robbed, you want to see the statistics behind how many players have better GA than Vinicius Jr. I know Vinicius Jr. Won the Champions League, but this man over here has won the Prem. He won the Euros. Vinicius played poorly, by the way, at Copa America. So for all those social media people who are just crying about Vinicius, I just don't get it. I was not surprised by the result whatsoever, and I would have felt confused had Vinny Jr. beaten Rodri to the Ballon d'Or. I really would have been confused. If you know what, for the longest time, I've been confused by some of the results for Ballon d'Or and the Messi and Ronaldo favoritism overall, and them getting Ballon d'Ors even in seasons where they haven't statistically necessarily been the best player. Like last year's Messi winning it, playing at the MLS was so weird. But yeah, Rodri, absolutely. Just as much as my hatred towards Man City, my jealousy towards Man City, how much as I want to see them charged, it's got nothing to do with the individual brilliance of some of these players. I will always celebrate individual brilliance. And congratulations to Rodri on winning the Ballon d'Or. Now let's move on across Manchester, where the drama heats up at the London Stadium. Look, I gotta say, I've been going on about refereeing decisions before we talk about this game, and obviously the consequences to this game. I've been talking about refereeing decisions, and I promised you it was not always going to be about Arsenal. I will stand up for those who need to be stood up for, and Manchester United should most definitely had a draw in this game. The penalty that Michael Oliver decided to overrule, I think was referee, was it David Coote? Nobody thought this was a penalty. The players didn't think a penalty. The game played on, and Oliver's in the ear. Hey, I need you to David Coote. I need you to look at this. And advising him that it should be a pen. How in the world is it a pen? It's like Danny Ings shoves into Matthias Selikt. It was a very awkward, unnatural fall. Nothing caused that. There's nothing in that. And Jared Bowen puts away the penalty, but I just don't understand the way the referees, and I want to see how they crawl their way out of this one, because even some of the media members are baffled by what happened here. And look, for those of you who want to go ahead and be like, oh, it's a penalty, people who hate Man United, oh, it's a penalty, rightfully so, blah, 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 blah. No, it was not. And Man United didn't deserve this fate. But maybe Man United fans might be happy by what it resulted in. But although I think a draw might have resulted in the same decision. And we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, West Ham take the lead. Somerville comes off as a sub. Bowen provides the assist for that. Somerville taps home. And then, a scramble in the box, headed by Xerxes, right into the path of Casemiro, who heads home the equalizer. And I thought that should have been it. And yeah, they got awarded a penalty, West Ham, and Man United lose. And look, I'm happy because obviously I picked, this is one of the two correct scores that I got, which the last two, the City one and this one. And yes, the results of this means the big breaking news, our topic of the week on this week's Premier League show. Erik ten Hag sacked. Finally, we feel like we've been talking about this forever, how he keeps saving his job. We were talking about how he was under pressure at the back end of last season, week on and week out. We keep saying, Man United save Erik ten Hag's job in certain respects. And after they won the FA Cup, I thought that definitely saved his job. I was shocked that they brought him back. Absolutely shocked that they brought him back. And he's just proved to be an incredibly incompetent coach. I was very happy to know that he was still at Man United, and the fact that he's gone now. Look, Man United fans should celebrate this. And I'm kind of happy that this topic is over, because maybe Man United, we could talk about different things involving Manchester United. We no longer need to discuss, Erik ten Hag, the pressure on Erik ten Hag, and I feel like everything is every week is talking about Erik ten Hag. This is, as Ange Postecoglou said in his presser today, this is always inevitable. This was inevitable. And now, where do they United go? For now, they've said that they've appointed, in place of him, obviously Ruud van Nistelrooy probably will manage Man United's game at the weekend. But the main target, it seems like they have got a deal in place for this man, Ruben Amorim, the manager of Sporting Lisbon. Now, he is I've rated him very highly, and I think this is a great hire if this were to go down for Manchester United. These teams are always very, very hard to play against. He's a very pragmatic coach, but his teams also play a really nice style of football. And by the way, think of the form of Victor Gyökeres. Victor Gyökeres is going to miss this man. And now, of course, the headlines are now saying, Gyökeres might follow him now to Man United, blah, blah, blah. But I also think that Man United have put in a lot of investments in Højlund and Xerxes. But could this be the type of man that, changes the fortunes of some of the players in the team? I think they're going to be a lot harder to beat. They're going to be a lot more well-structured. I think defensively, overall, I got to do a little bit more research into Ruben Amorim. Of course, what I know of him was when we played Sporting in the Europa League. Man, and of course he had Manuel Ugarte, who used to be his player, now at Man United. So yeah, the Portuguese manager could be on his way to Man United. This would be their second Portuguese manager after Jose Mourinho. And I think it's an excellent thing. I think it's as a rival fan, I'm a bit scared of this, because now I feel like now you're starting to see Ineos making the correct decisions potentially, and the swift movement of 24 hours from the sacking of Ten Hag to the news about Amorim potentially almost agreeing terms is very impressive. I don't believe he'll be on the touchline this weekend because it's not easy just to take charge like that as a manager. He needs time to get to know his players, implement what he wants to do. So it's be interesting how that handover transition kind of happens mid-season. But yeah, that is the big breaking news. So Erik Ten Hag, will repeat, finally sacked as manager of Manchester United. That is it. That is our big breaking news. Man United fans, what are your feelings? What are your thoughts on it? I think you should be happy. I think he's held you back big time. Now you've got your back, your decision makers at your club, I think, are a lot better. They could have questioned the decision for them to keep him, but now they have, I feel like, amended that. Now, of course, before start to the season, you come into question as to why they could have gotten Amorim in the summer. You just don't know. Maybe the stars didn't align for them then, but they have potentially for them now. It's going to be interesting to see how things work at Sporting, because they're going to have to obviously replace Amorim when they haven't. It's something that they didn't expect, they didn't see coming. So that's going to be very interesting. But Man United, I'm interested to see how this season goes from here. But anyway, overall, guys, that has been our Premier League show. As said, we're just over half an hour today. But make sure, for you guys in here, make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you are subscribing to Hot Sport, guys. We are still on our way to that 500 subs mark. And just to recap on the scores and the Arsenal-Liverpool draw 2-2. Chelsea 2-1 winners over Newcastle. Crystal Palace, first win of the year. They beat Tottenham Hotspur. Villa dropped points late on against Bournemouth at home in injury time. City go top of the league with a 1-0 victory over Southampton. Rodri is the Ballon d'Or. And West Ham United beat Man United 2-1. And Erik Ten Hag is sacked, potentially being replaced by Sporting Lisbon's Ruben Amorim. Guys, thank you all for watching. We will be back later on, maybe either later today or tomorrow, with the NFL show and our top 10 list. Very excited for that. And we will, guys, see you guys later. Anton out.